Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in the last video we did some functions and there was one code in the zip function that did not run. So I figured out what was the reason behind it. So instead of list we have to write it zip and we have to add this asterisk. This is the way it is going to we are supposed to unpack the zip element object using the zip function only, but with that we have to use this asterisk. Okay, asterisk to the variable. Okay, that was the mistake. I figured that out. So for today let's start with, we did lambda functions, right? So now we have to start with filter function. So what does filter function do? So filter function takes an iterable as in parameter, okay, and it takes a function also as a parameter. Then what it does is it takes all the elements from that iterable and put them into the function and checks for whatever the condition that's been mentioned in the function passed, okay, and it returns an iterable only, but that iterable has only those elements for whom the value after running them through the function, the value is true. Only those functions are shown. Okay, to understand this, let's just take a list of numbers. Okay, so we've taken the list. Now what we're going to do is we're going to define a function is even, okay, and we're going to pass an element. Okay, so there's one more easier way to do this, but let's just do using we can use the lambda functions also, but let's do using this only. For even we use this remainder functions because what does this mean? It means that on dividing this with 2, if it gives 0, it is even, otherwise it's odd, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a filter object. I'm going to name it f1 filter. First we're supposed to pass the function that is even. I would advise you to see this on at least 1.5x because I speak a little slow, but it would be easy for you to understand if to cover this easily with less time if you watch it on 2x. Okay, so this is the f1 object. If I just run this, let's just see what we get. Oh, we did not get anything. Let's just print f1 object without unpacking it. It only returns as filter object only, right? To unpack it, what we need to do print list f1. See, it only gave us the even values. So what it does is it's going to create a iterable, but it is only going to return the value which has true in it. Okay, so if we pass here, what we get? On 1 we get false. I'll use 0 1. Okay, 0, this 1 0 1 0 1 0 1, right? So this is what it is going to return is only those values are going to be passed to the iterable. This object, filter object, only those values are going to be passed which have true, right? So this 2 4 6 8 is going to be passed to the f1 object. Filter is basically used where we want to check the conditions like boolean conditions, true and false, all that, right? So that is the place where a filter is used. The original list remains unchanged. No changes are made to the list original iterable. The changes are made in the new object, the filter object. Okay, it creates an iterator that we just saw. It creates an iterator in which all the true values are shown. you can read all this. It's very, very basics only, you know. We've done a lot of basics, so this is very, very easy. We just need to know, because this is important for us to know, because we need to know what to use when and what all things we have in Python, right? It's all very easy. Okay, so this is filter. Now a very similar function to filter is map function. Okay, to understand map function, what it does is it also does the same thing. It takes a function, it takes iterables, and what it does is it gives an iterator only as a result. Okay, quite similar, but the difference is here the operation, we usually do it to perform an operation. Here the main reason to do is to check for a boolean condition, true and false, right? And here there's some arithmetic operation or something operation is done on all the elements, right? Here the output can have, in this output we have 5 elements, but the input had 10, right? Herein the number of input and output is going to be same. If we have multiple iterables, then the number of elements is going to be the size of the shortest iterable, right? If we have two lists, one list has 10 elements and other list has 5 elements, so the new iterator on using the map function will give us only 5 elements in the map iterator. Okay, that is the difference. Herein we don't know how many elements we're going to get, 0, 2, 5, or as much as the size. Okay, we don't know that, but herein we know that the size is going to be the size of the shortest iterable passed to the map function. Okay, let's just quickly see. Okay, this time we're not going to use the proper function, you know, the user defined function kind of thing. We're going to use a lambda only. Okay, you remember lambda, right? If not, go back and watch the video. It's very, very easy. Okay, so let's just create a map object, and first we're supposed to pass a function. So we're going to create a function, lambda x. Let's just multiply each one of them. So what we do is we pass the parameter here and the function or the operation here. Okay, then we're going to pass the list. Then we're going to print first m1. Then what we're going to do is we're going to print list into m1. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me also print list. See, on printing m1 we get the map object. On printing the list we get the list that we created. On printing the m1 as list, because it also returns an iterator, and to check with the values of iterator we have to convert it, we have to unpack it, right? So we use list object only, list function only, sorry. So what it did was it multiplied each element with 10, and now we know the size of this also, right? Let's just no, it's going to be length. Okay, let's just see if the length is same. Why is it showing? Let's just create another, variable and pass a g here and this. Oh, I'm sorry. Why is it showing us 0 when we can clearly see it as 10 elements? Okay, I'll just figure that out. But you understood what map function does, right? Okay, so let's just move on to reduce function. So what reduce function does is it takes multiple iterators, okay, takes iterator, sorry, not multiple, it takes iterator. It can take multiple iterators also, but it depends upon the functions in which we are going to pass those iterable. Okay, so what it does is it takes iterator or iterators and it passes it to the function, and what it does is it reduces its value to a single value. Okay, it does not create an iterator, it gives only one single value, that is reduce function. Okay, and for that we have to import this func tools. This is the concept of modules that we're going to cover very soon, but right now we're going to right now just consider it as a syntax that you need to remember. But in a couple of classes we're going to do what module is, and it is a very very easy thing. It's very easy. We're going to relate it with the real life things, so it is going to become very very easy. But right now don't put so much mind into what is import, what is func tools and all that. Just consider that this is the prerequisite to use reduce function. Okay, let me just quickly copy the syntax. So what function should we pass? Let's see if this works. Okay, let's see what it gives us. Okay, this is not how it's going to be done, so wait a minute, I'll just tell you. Okay, so I just figured out, we need to add one more x comma y, and we're not supposed to multiply it with 1. Okay, this is like we need to pass 2 arguments. Okay, and I'll just quickly pass on the list. This time it's going to work. Okay, now I'm going to print var. Okay, so this is something that is going to come. I'll just reduce the values so that we can understand if our answer is correct or not. See, it's correct. So x comma y, we use this because we only have one value, but when we multiply this, okay, each element goes into this one, right, and it is multiplied, so that multiplied portion is passed on to the next variable. Okay, that is why we need to pass this var arguments. Okay, this is what reduced to. Okay, it's very very easy. It takes a list and gives a single value. What we did, we did not convert it to a list or anything else. We just simply passed the reduce variable. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next is accumulate function. Okay, in this function we did not see how the calculation was done, right? We could not see that, but in this function we're going to see how the complete calculation is being done. Okay, I'm going to copy the same code. In this, instead of func tools, we use iter tools. Don't focus on that right now because we're on to something big, right? Sorry. Okay, we have to convert it. Function object is not an iterable. How is it not an iterable? Let's just see. instead of multiplication, let's just do addition. Okay. I'm very nervous because I'm putting it out there and I'm not also very sure about what I'm going to do, what I'm doing. But it's okay, we're learning together, so I'll just figure that out also. Let's just see what's the issue. We have to convert it to see the list because it gives the answer in list because it gives us the value of each step that it does internally, right? So, but it's showing us error somewhere here in the function that we have passed. So let's just check that. Okay, so I figured out what's the mistake that we're doing. It's just the order, I didn't carefully see the syntax. I used the last syntax only, but this is how it's going to be done. Let's just see. It is giving us this object only, but we need to convert it, right? So we'll quickly convert this into a list, and here we go. So first it's giving us 1 because 1 is not added to anything. Then it is giving 1 plus 2, that is 3. And it is giving us 3 plus 3. Okay, it was not the sign arithmetic operation that was giving the error, it was just the syntax error. It was only syntax error. Okay, so what it is giving? 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. Okay, now 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. That's how it's doing. So that is the calculation that was happening right here. Okay, we could not see what was going on internally, but in accumulate function what it does is it gives us how the calculation was done. Okay, so moving on, now we have recursive function. Okay, recursive function is basically a function inside a function. Okay, what is it that we use in the most? Factorial, I guess. Yeah, recursive function is mostly used in factorials, in basically your education level, right? In the real world, even I don't know, I'm yet to find that out, right? So let's just do this using a proper code only. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to write a function. We're going to do factorial. I hope you know what factorial is, right? Factorial basically means a series of numbers. You have to find its multiplication, right? So this is what we did, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is factorial 3. Okay, they're integers only, 1 2 3 succeeding with 1 only. So if I say factorial 5, so it is going to multiply all this, right? So it is going to be 120. It's going to multiply 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So whatever the highest number is, that, and here the n is 5. The largest number is called the n, that is factorial 5. So that factorial 5, that integer is n. Okay, basic things. Okay, so here we're going to pass in n. Okay, we're going to check if n is equal to 0 or n is equal to 1. Return 1. Okay, else what are we going to do? This is where the magic happens. Okay, n into factorial n minus 1. Okay, now factorial 5. We got the 120 answers, right? That's what's going to happen, right? Factorial 3 is 6. 6 into 5 into 4 is 120. Okay, so what I did here was I'm going to check if n is 0. If I multiply it with 0, then my whole factorial is going to be 0, right? So we don't want that, and we want it to stop at 1. After 1 there's no more -1 happening. So if we take, if the question is asked how to find a factorial, or to find a factorial of the highest number is given, so what we did is we took the highest number, we're multiplying it, we're doing reverse thing, right? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. And when it gives 1, whenever the n is equal to 0 or 1, what we do is we ask it to return only 1, so it is multiplying it by 1 only, right? So firstly it was 5, and here is 5, then it is asking to call back the function, this function, and pass the value n-1. So n-1 is 4, so we're passing 4 here. So 4 is not qualifying for this one, so it is going this one. Okay, so here n is 4. So what it is doing is 5 we already have, we got 4 also. Now it is asking factorial, it's passing the function, it's asking the factorial function to go ahead and proceed with n-1, which is 3. So here we get 3, which also don't qualify for this condition, so it goes here, and the loop continues until we have 1 or 0, right? That's how it's done. I hope recursive function is also clear to you. It was very easy thing, and we don't use it a lot because it consumes a lot of memory, and it ain't that good with respect to how the machine functions. So that is the reason why we don't use it that much, but it is very important, because in my 3 years of graduation, this is that one topic that has haunted me for like very long, but I finally had the courage and faced it. So it is easy, but it's not that important with respect to the real life world, I assume, but with respect to academic or theoretical questions, it is very important. And especially with the recursive function, with factorial or Fibonacci series, all that, it is very crucial. Often questions are asked to do this using the recursive function, so we should know. There's no harm in knowing extra thing. Okay, so it was nice. Thank you very much. See you again very soon.